pause it too. If we want to pause it, can just hi guys. Oh yeah, guys. Today we'll be talking about Ryan Murphy.
I'm not gonna lie, I've not known much about him, especially since you kind of brought me onto it and put me onto like his shows and stuff like that. So really, I didn't really know much about like him, but like researching, it was interesting. It was very interesting.
I didn't even know who he was when I started watching it. I didn't even I had no idea who the creator of American Horror Story or Scream Queens. I didn't even know he created he co-created. I don't know, or whatever. I didn't know that he created Glee.
No, right.
I was like, whoa. Okay.
No, because I was confused with all these shows coming out, especially like casting approach to it is very you can tell it's unique, and you can tell it's made by someone who's indulged within the culture and with the community itself, and that really put me on to Scream Queens, American Horror Story, stuff like that. But other than that, we're gonna be talking about Ryan Murphy.
I also I kind of appreciate, even though he's a part of the community itself, but I kind of appreciate all the representation in it.
Yeah.
Not so questionable parts of the show, but a lot more showing more representation in the trans community as well as the LGBT community as well.
Right.
I also the creativity with it.
Exactly.
It feels like he has something else going up on there that really
and it more expands creativity within his shows. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about Ryan Murphy. Just jot down some information, key details about, who he is and what he represents for the community and for his show and for his, his work.
He was born in Indianapolis, Indiana on November 9th, 1965. Officially, an American writer, director, and producer.
So let's figure out how he even got into the industry, content creating new pieces and creating movies and shows like that. He went to a Catholic school to the 8th grade, and he graduated from Warren Central High School and gained inspiration from his parents from journalism and working in the newspaper industry. When he was younger, his parents, both his mom and dad, his mom was a journalist, I believe, and his father works for a newspaper company.
So that could have sparked his passion for writing.
Yeah, his passion for writing, And I'm guessing producing, because how a newspaper you would produce and then sell out, and
or also storytelling.
Yeah,
yeah,
especially because basically back then newspapers, they had a lot of cartoons, they had little doodles, stuff like that, for the kids and stuff like that, in which I know a lot of writers, animators, even illustrators, they'll get their inspiration from those type of illustrations, those type of art. And especially for his parents to be both a writer and a newspaper within both industries, I feel like it really played a big part into how he can manage his role now as a producer basically in the industry. So that's how Isaac is.
So now we're gonna talk about his studying after he graduated from high school. So at first he went to study journalism, which I feel is another inspiration from his parents, at the University of Bloomington, where he was a member of a vocal ensemble. Honestly, I don't know what that is, but I feel that would be something,
within the industry. Because and when researching,
he also interned in the style section of the Washington Post.
Yeah.
So that could have been a time.
And especially since the Washington Post is a very known website where people will get their stories, will get their I feel stepping from that, it was the gateway to really bring his way of journalism out in some way, shape, or form.
But yeah, that's the last information about his college experience. To be more specific.
So overall, we can really tell where he got his inspiration from, where he was able to get that stepping stone from for him to be able to even pursue his career, which is why in 1990 he got into screenwriting, but only in 1999 was his first story produced. It was a popular 1999 18 comedy show that ran for 2 seasons. It don't have the name, no information about it. That was his big stepping point, his big debut basically of his whole career right now. But by 2003 he created Nip Tuck, which brought him his first Emmy nomination. He won the award 6 years later with the release of Glee. In 2015 he was awarded the award for inspiration from AMFAR.
He also was a part of the creation of Glee, which makes sense now that I think about it, because the casting in Scream Queen was kind of the same in American Horror Story.
Right.
So that kind of makes sense.
It makes sense, especially if you look at the cast, and probably since I never personally watched Glee, I'm guessing the dialogue and how the story represents itself, you can tell he would co-create. Yeah.
And then after that, in 2018, he signed a $300 million deal with Netflix to create a more inclusive environment for women and minorities in Hollywood. And furthermore on that, it was more of like with the creation of like shows, you know,
Right.
with like casting and like, you know, really
Getting
showing
enough
representation.
Yes, especially within like the industry of not theater, like the film industry,
Where,
like
or just Hollywood in general, where it's like really like it kind of lacks like inclusivity and everything.
inclusive. Yeah, exactly. Like it lacks real feeling of each community. With Ryan Murphy, I feel like it's different because I feel like he knows, since he is someone who is a part of the LGBTQ plus community himself. I feel like he really understands like the raw feeling and raw motives when it goes into his projects of like how it really is. But obviously with his shows, you'll get like dark, mysterious, different genres, you know, that's like out of this world. But like he still represents the communities in a good light, which I feel like a lot of studios, you know, start doing.
Which,
Yeah.
like we kind of seen in a Cult on American Horror Story, and we kind of see that with like the main character. I also forgot her name, but Sarah Paulson, who plays her, she kind of sees it's kind of like a woman empowerment movement is like worth it.
Overall, he shows like empowerment and a lot of light onto different communities and a lot of different like unique aspects within like his projects that gives his viewer something to watch, something to look forward to, something to gasp at, something to, you know, react to. You know, not a lot of shows really does that, to where their audience really gets that reaction. It's just, but with his projects, like for me personally, I was very surprised by all the plots and all the like everything he just added. Like it was just stuff that you wouldn't expect, but stuff that was so unique and stuff that was so real that you just had to keep watching. And that overall, for me, what makes him like a good like producer, with everything being said and done, overall, all what we just explained and our thoughts, like what makes him a great producer, what makes Ryan Murphy a great producer.